This could be a prime weekend for upsets in college football. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. You are a good sport. On this channel, we talk college football teams, trends, and traditions, all the way to logos, history, and predictions. If that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing for in-depth college football content. We could see a lot of big upsets this week. Last week had the big primetime game with Alabama and Georgia, but this week does not have one big showcase game. Therefore, you could have a lot of underrated games that become close and see some upsets. And really, with it being the first week in the Big Ten, you don't know what to expect at all. You could see some games such as South Carolina, LSU that could be an upset, Auburn, Ole Miss. So there's a lot of games on the slate that could turn out in ways that we may not expect. But what I'm really interested in this week is who can get that fourth playoff spot. Obviously, that won't be answered by the end of this week, don't get me wrong. But I'm interested in teams such as BYU, Cincinnati, SMU, because those teams still have a shot at snagging that fourth playoff spot. The Big 12 looks about as close to out of the conversation as they can be at this point in the season, and if Alabama and Clemson run the table, you may not get a second team within either of those conferences making it, where Alabama and Clemson can kind of clinch it. And I honestly expect Ohio State to be able to do the same. And therefore, you have three of those teams and kind of that fourth spot left in limbo. If those three teams do run the table, that obviously kind of knocks out Georgia and Florida out of the SEC East, Notre Dame out of the ACC, and anybody else in the Big Ten. But that does leave one team out of those conferences that could still have a shot, and that would be Texas A&M. Texas A&M, if they run the table, their only loss would be to Alabama in the second week of the season. Now, A&M has not had to deal with a lot of late season pressure in recent memory, but it'll be interesting to see how they play throughout the middle of the season and down the stretch to see if they have a chance at if they can run the table. That's the biggest team that I see in a scenario like this that could get in the way of potentially BYU, Cincinnati, or SMU. But you do also have to consider the Pac-12. Can Oregon run the table? If they do, and they go 7-0, how convincing are their wins? But if A&M and Oregon, they both slip up in a game or maybe two, then that leaves the door wide open pretty much for a team like BYU. Right now they're undefeated. They've got a really, really good quarterback who is coming up on some lists for the Heisman even. And BYU has won in convincing fashion. It looks like they have a good offense and they haven't been in too many close games. So if they can take care of business and win the games they're supposed to win, then that leaves two big games that are left on their schedule: Boise State and San Diego State. If they win those two games and they take care of business like they should the rest of the time, BYU has, I think, a legitimate shot at the playoff this year. And it might be the closest that we get to seeing a group of 5 team make the playoff. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What games are you interested in watching this week? Who do you think has a legitimate shot at the playoff? And who might get upset? Let me know any of your opinions in this comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, consider hitting the like button and subscribing for more in-depth college football content. That's it for me in this video. Until next time, be good now.